Good morning and welcome to John's Tarot. It is approximately 5:06 in the morning out here in California on November 25th, 2025. I hope you're doing well out there and you're having a good day. I'm going to use this opportunity to talk more, just more naturally from experience and about what's going on with John's Tarot. I will be doing a series of videos on John's Tarot. I'm moving away from fortune telling, and I'm doing a series of videos more on awakening and using Carl Jung's concepts of awakening as a guide, because I've been going through this for a number of years, and I've just come into a basic understanding of what's been happening to me, and we're going to talk a little bit about that this morning. So I'm doing a series of videos. The first video is phase one. I have 3 videos in phase 1, individuation and the tarot, the psychological and symbolic map of the soul's journey. And that's up on YouTube. All my videos will be up on YouTube for later referrals. Should you want to go and take a look at them, view them in order, or view them you might be going through a certain aspect of individuation of your own personal spiritual awakening. And I will probably touch on that through this series of videos. So I'll be doing the videos on Friday, and those will be more formal. This is on my Tuesday or Wednesday morning videos. It'll be more informal and more talking, and the opportunity to talk to you and hear what you're saying to me too. Because as we go through this, you can go ahead and send me some email or send me a comment, and we'll take a look at it, and I'll talk about it a little bit. So this first phase, beginning the journey, individuation in the tarot, Sophia, that's my next one. Sophia, archetype of the divine. We're going to talk about divine wisdom as a guide of transformation. And episode 3, recovery as a spiritual awakening. I'm going to talk about addiction and suffering as a doorway to the self. The purpose of these episodes is to introduce the core themes of my entire series. And then I'm going to go on, and I have a series set up here, Descent into Depth. I have 3 episodes there I've been thinking about. And then phase 3, spiritual transformation. And then finally, phase 4, embodiment and service. So I have a whole series, a whole body of work I'm going to go ahead and be producing on John's Tarot. Today I'm going to talk about this weird thing that's been going on with me ever since I got sober. And I've been sober now for like 36 years. And I just wonder how many of you are going through similar things. And you wonder, right, what's going on with me? Why? What? I used to just think I was kind of weird. Well, I still become a little weird until recently when I ran into Carl Jung's work, and that's been coming on over the last couple of years. Carl Jung has been he's been surrounding me for many years. He was involved in AA, in the he was involved with the foundation of a special aspect of the 12 steps, which has been transitional for me, a very important part of my life. So I've run into Carl Jung there in that respect. I've run into Carl Jung with the I Ching. He's in the I Ching. He's in the Wilhelm version of the I Ching, where he makes comments and he was a daily user of the I Ching, just like I am. And just to encounter the I Ching, the way I encountered the I Ching, it was a synchronistic event. I'll talk a little bit about that in a second. And it's been with me ever since. It's been a great help. And synchronicities throughout my life. That's what I'm going to be talking about some of that in here in just a minute. And then where else then I picked up tarot, I don't know, about 10 years back. And 10, 15 years back, somewhere I picked up tarot. And that has been, again, Carl Jung was involved with that. So every time I turn around, I got Carl Jung looking over my shoulder. So I started taking a look at some of the things he has to say, and I'll be sharing that with you as I move forward with this series of programs. And I'm pretty much going to try to stay away from so much the fortune telling. There's a lot of good fortune tellers out there, and I'm going to try to do something a little bit more, has a little bit more social impact than just that, because what's going on is important. So I started So I've been sober now 36 years ago. 37 years ago, I encountered Buddhism, and I was practicing Buddhism, and I started encountering synchronicities. I didn't know what they were called at the time. I thought they were just, I don't know what I thought they were, but I thought they were strange occurrences. And I remember my first synchronicity. I was practicing this Buddhism with the SGI, the Soka Gakkai International. Oh, I don't practice anymore, but it was instrumental. And I prayed for something, and I got an answer like that day. It was so strange. Synchronicities continued to happen. And you may be experiencing these types of things where you have two or three things happen, and they may be unrelated things that happen in a short period of time to get your attention. That is trying to get your attention that something is going on. Synchronicity, and then as it progressed, synchronicities stop being occasional surprises and become a constant dialogue. You think of someone and they call within minutes. You have a question, and a stranger mentions the exact answer in passing. Synchronicities are not random. I thought these were random. They are the universe becoming conscious of itself through you. And I have synchronicities on a regular basis. And actually, I have a daily synchronicity. Every time I use the I Ching or I use the tarot cards, I'm forcing the universe into a synchronicity. And I'm focusing, I'm going into a conversation with a deeper part of my psyche. I didn't realize that type of thing when I first got involved in this. And the problem with having synchronicities is it is a privilege of consciousness, and it's also a burden. You see what others cannot, and this seeing separates you from those who remain unconscious. Synchronicities become your secret language with reality. Beautiful, profound, and utterly isolating. And sometimes we just think that, in the program they call it having a God shot, and it's an occasional thing for people who are becoming spiritually awake, spiritually more aware. The other thing that I've experienced is the ability to hold opposites without choosing sides. I talked in the past about when you look at the Taoist symbol, you have that circle and the black and the white seeds in it. That encompasses that concept of seeing opposites with both sides of an issue. All the white side with the black dot, everything's positive, but there is this seed of negativity within it. And then the black side with the white dot on the other side of the circle, that's like negativity with the possibility of positivity, the seed of positivity evolving within it. And once you start looking at that and thinking about that, you develop this transcendent function. One way I see things like I was seeing the concept of Jesus and Judas, where I saw Judas as absolutely necessary in order for Jesus to accomplish his mission. Most people don't see it like that. Most people see it, Jesus is a good concept, Judas is the bad, and they see it in black and white. And when you develop this transcendence, you're able to see both concepts at once. When I see death in the hospital and I see life and death, I'm an ICU nurse, I see life and death all the time. That I see it as, although the families are grieving and they're not able to see it, they just see the loss. But I see it as the circle of life completing, like we're born and people are so happy, congratulations. But when somebody dies, it's so sad. But it's just part of the same continuum. Both life and death are just different sides of the same coin. And I see these things all at the same time. Politics is a problem. Politics demands you pick a team, but you see the truth and shadow in all positions. You understand that every perspective contains both wisdom and ignorance. This makes you useless to anyone trying to recruit you to their cause. You're too aware of complexity for simplistic narratives, too conscious of paradox for rigid ideologies. You become what Jung calls psychologically unemployable by any system that requires true believers. So that's one of the reasons I cannot I don't function well in organized religion. I don't function well in political parties. I don't subscribe to any particular political party, although I may like points that each political party is putting forth. But I can never be a Trumper because I'm just not a believer. I will not. I cannot subscribe and just be a follower. That is a sign of spiritual awakening. So there's another one here. Oh, we talked about dreams. When dreams start to have communication from the self, direct transmission from your deepest wisdom. I started having that a number of years ago too. I remember I had a dream. So my dreams aren't just random firings. My dreams have significance in my life, and I understand they are part of my subconscious trying to communicate with me and try to give me a definite message. I had a major surgery when I was 37, and it was a major one. And afterwards, I didn't know what was going to happen. And afterwards, I had a dream. And this is an example of my direct transmission from my deepest wisdom in a dream. And in the dream, I see a priest, okay? And the priest is handing me a baby. And that was one of my first dreams of this deeper wisdom communicating with me. It's a priest handing me a baby. What is that about? I thought about it for a while. And this was my inner self telling me that I have been at least spiritually reborn. And since then, my dreams have become more powerful, and I understand that it is my internal self trying to communicate with me. This is all part of awakening. And when I talk to people, most people do not have these experiences. They do not have the experiences of synchronicities or the experience of being able to hold opposites and the experience of dreams communicating with me. Awakening doesn't destroy the ego. It destroys the monopoly on consciousness. What Jung called the ego self-axis, the relationship between your everyday personality and your deepest essence, undergoes complete reorganization. And here's what actually happened. You start experiencing yourself as multiple centers of consciousness simultaneously. I have that experience. If you've been having that experience, I see myself not only as an individual ego performing in the world, a guy who does a job, who goes to work, makes a paycheck, takes care of my things, blah, blah, blah. I also see myself simultaneously as the universe working through me. And I'm working, and I do the best I can with what's handed to me, what's right in front of me. But it's not just me doing this. It's also the infinite universe working through me to resolve this problem. Especially I see it all the time in nursing, and I understand that it is that unfolding of the universal consciousness working through me. And I also at the same time see myself as, John the guy that goes to work, John the guy that's needs to go to meetings. But I also see it as they would call it in the program, the will of God. I can't subscribe to that exactly. My concepts are a little different, but I see it as the universe working through me, and me being part of that universal consciousness at any one time. I got to move through this a little quicker. What else? And then the final one, living in mythology. Living mythologically doesn't mean pretending your life is a fairy tale. It means recognizing that you're simultaneously living a personal life and enacting universal patterns Jung called archetypes. I remember when we had the COVID thing, I made a conscious decision to work through, as ICU nurse, that no matter what happens, I was going to work through this. I was going to work through the pandemic, that this was what all the training was about, what all the opportunity was about, I've given an opportunity to be sober. I've been given an opportunity to go to school. I've been given an opportunity to become an experienced professional. And this is what it was all about. And I was embodying the archetype of the warrior. And I understood the spiritual warrior. And I understood that at the time. And when you start understanding these types of things, what you're doing, and then other people are working through archetypes. And I see other people working through their own, manifesting their own archetypes, and they don't understand what they're doing. They're just doing that. But when I start identifying it, that is a part of spiritual awakening. If you're doing that type of thing, you're not just weird. If you're doing these types of things that I've been talking about, well, maybe you are weird to other people, but this is a natural part of spiritual awakening, of becoming more spiritually mature. But this is also why you can't go back once these experiences begin. You can't unexperience synchronicity once you've lived in constant dialogue with reality. You can't return to either or thinking once the transcendent function activates. You can't have ordinary dreams once you receive a transmission from the self. You can't live only as ego once you experience the self. You can't see life as random events once you've recognized the mythological pattern. Jung called this the irreversibility of consciousness. You're living in a different reality than most people around you. Not a better reality, a more comprehensive one. You see what they see, but you also see what they don't. You experience what they experience, but plus dimensions they can't see. You're like someone with color vision in a world where most people see black and white. Each person who develops synchronistic awareness, transcendent functions, prophetic dreaming, ego and mythological living, they call it ego self-act, and mythological living, adds what Jung called the sum of total consciousness available to humanity. You're not having these experiences for yourself alone. You're having them for everyone who can't yet. You're pioneering psychological territories that will one day become common ground, but they are certainly not common ground now. What feels like isolation is actually profound service. What seems like personal awakening is a collective evolution happening through you. If you are experiencing these things that I talked about, you're experiencing awakening, and you're going through a process. And what my series of videos is going to be like is exploring this process. And Jung had it all mapped out. I thought I was so unique, so special. But and I guess we are a little unique. We are special. We're a little different than the most. But it is a mapped out experience with definite steps and definite phases and definite opportunities for growth. And that's what my videos are going to be about. Let's do a quick reading, and I'll wrap this up. I'm going to throw out 3 cards. And I'm going to be mapping out this experience. If you're experiencing this, or you know somebody who is, refer them to me. 3 cards for somebody who is awakening. What's some of the basic things they need to remember? And I'm just going to ask the tarot. What are some of the things a person who is experiencing awakening, what do they need to remember? And I'll cut the deck. My first card is the Ace of Wands. You need to remember this is a new burgeoning, a new growth, a new beginning, a new consciousness that is coming into being, into humanity itself. And your old personality doesn't completely dissolve, but it changes. Your concept of self changes, and it's a new growth and it's new opportunity. I'm just going to throw 3 cards. And my second card is the 6 of Pentacles. And the 6 of Pentacles, you see a man with a scale and pentacles around him, and he's helping a couple of poor people. And this is the universe has chosen you. You're experiencing these things. You have been chosen by the universe to help benefit mankind. And that's the most simplistic way I can describe it. And that's how I see this process that's been happening within me. And if you're having this experience, it's not random. You had the potential and the universe identified it and is giving you opportunities to develop it. And my final card is the Six of Cups, and that has to do with the past. And you probably pick these things up in a past reincarnation deal, and it's just going to manifest in this life. We do these things over periods of time, long periods of time. Our lives are bigger than what we perceive. We think I think my life is John from birth to death. No, that is just a part of the story. Our lives are much bigger than that, are much bigger function than that. This life of John I'm experiencing right now, and this particular life you're experiencing right now, is just a chapter in the book you're writing as a life, as a bigger life experience. And you started on this journey in the past, and it probably takes several lifetimes in order to finish. So I'm going to wrap this up for today. I got to get to work. I got things to do. I hope you found this podcast interesting. I hope you tune into my Friday podcast, which will be on Sophia, the power of divine wisdom. And until then, be careful, be cool, be kind. Remember, find strength, have courage, and I will see you all on Friday. All right, bye-bye.